Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Art Garfunkel is an American singer, songwriter, actor, and poet best known as one half of the legendary folk rock duo Simon and Garfunkel, whose harmonies helped define the sound of the 1960s. Born Arthur Ira Garfunkel on November 5, 1941, in Forest Hills, Queens, New York City, he grew up in a Jewish family where his love for singing and literature blossomed early. From childhood, Garfunkel displayed a fascination with music, spending hours recording his voice and analyzing sound. At Forest Hills High School, he met Paul Simon, forming a musical partnership that would become one of the most influential in modern music history. Originally performing under the name Tom and Jerry, the duo achieved their first minor hit in 1957 with Hey Schoolgirl. After attending Columbia University, where he studied art history and mathematics, Garfunkel reunited with Simon in the early 1960s. Together, they became Simon and Garfunkel, pioneers of folk rock who merged poetic lyrics with pristine harmonies. Their breakthrough came with The Sound of Silence, 1965, a haunting ballad that captured the spirit of a restless era. Through the late 1960s, Garfunkel's ethereal tenor voice helped elevate classics like Scarborough Fair, Canticle, Mrs. Robinson, The Boxer, and Bridge Over Troubled Water. His angelic performance on Bridge Over Troubled Water remains one of the most celebrated vocal recordings in pop history. The duo's success, however, was accompanied by creative tension. By 1970, after the release of their final studio album, Simon and Garfunkel disbanded, each pursuing solo paths. Garfunkel's solo career produced several albums, including Angel Clare, 1973, featuring the hit All I Know, and Breakaway, 1975, which included I Only Have Eyes for You. While his solo work never matched the commercial heights of Simon and Garfunkel, it showcased his devotion to artistry and lyrical expression. He also pursued acting, appearing in films such as Catch-22, 1970, and Carnal Knowledge, 1971, where his understated performances earned critical acclaim. In addition to music and film, Garfunkel has a deep love of poetry and literature. He has published collections of his writings and is known for his passion for walking, having famously walked across the United States and parts of Europe over several years, chronicling his experiences in journals and essays. Despite periodic reunions with Paul Simon, including their famous 1981 Central Park concert attended by over 500,000 fans, their relationship has remained complex, marked by both creative synergy and personal strain. Yet together, they have left an indelible mark on American music and culture. In later years, Garfunkel continued to record, perform, and write, celebrating both the fragile beauty of harmony and the resilience of the artist's spirit. His voice, clear and pure even into his later decades, stands as a symbol of introspection and grace, the sound of a generation searching for meaning, love, and connection. Art Garfunkel's life beyond Simon and Garfunkel reflects the depth of a true artist, one continually drawn to reflection, intellect, and emotional honesty. While his musical partnership with Paul Simon made him a global icon, Garfunkel's solo journey revealed a quieter, more introspective side that combined his love for words, sound, and solitude. After the duo's breakup in 1970, Garfunkel's first solo album, Angel Clare, 1973, established him as a sensitive interpreter of melody. Produced with meticulous care, it featured elegant arrangements and the timeless single, All I Know, written by Jimmy Webb, a song that became emblematic of Garfunkel's voice, tender yet strong, vulnerable yet assured. His next albums, Breakaway, 1975, and Watermark, 1977, continued his exploration of romanticism and nostalgia. On Breakaway, he worked again with Simon for the song My Little Town, a bittersweet reminder of their enduring connection. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, Garfunkel faced personal tragedy. His longtime girlfriend, actress Laurie Bird, took her own life in 1979, a loss that profoundly affected him and led to a period of withdrawal from public life. Music became both a refuge and a form of mourning. He later spoke of the immense loneliness and soul-searching he endured during this time, using walking and poetry as means of healing and rediscovery. By the 1980s, Garfunkel had resumed his creative output, releasing albums like Scissors Cut, 1981, and Lefty, 1988. He also continued to collaborate intermittently with Paul Simon. Their 1981 concert in Central Park became one of the most iconic live performances in history, drawing an estimated 500,000 people and reigniting interest in their timeless catalog. Garfunkel's intellectual curiosity has always defined him. A voracious reader, he famously kept a list of every book he has read since 1968, a collection that now numbers in the thousands. His love of poetry led to the publication of Still Water, Prose Poems, 1989, which combined meditations on love, art, and the passage of time. In his memoir What Is It All But Luminous? Notes from an Underground Man, 2017, Garfunkel offered a lyrical, fragmented portrait of his life, a blend of autobiography, philosophy, and poetic musings. His passion for long-distance walking became another lifelong project. Garfunkel traversed the entire United States on foot, walking in stages from the East Coast to the West over several years, and later journeyed across parts of Europe. He described walking as a form of meditation and freedom, the purest way to travel and think. In his personal life, Garfunkel married Kim Garfunkel, née Cermak, in 1988, and they have 2 sons. His devotion to family and introspective lifestyle have characterized his later years, even as he continued to tour and perform. Though he faced vocal cord problems in the 2010s that temporarily affected his ability to sing, he eventually recovered, returning to the stage with his distinctive clarity and emotional resonance intact. Today, Art Garfunkel stands as a symbol of the lyrical, thoughtful spirit of 20th-century music. His voice, once described as the sound of light, remains one of the most recognizable in American popular culture, a reminder of a time when songs sought to reach not only the ear but the soul. His legacy lies not only in his recordings but in his unwavering belief that music, poetry, and contemplation are the truest paths to understanding the human condition. Art Garfunkel's musical legacy reaches far beyond his time with Paul Simon. It embodies an era when music was both poetry and protest, introspection and unity. His voice, often compared to a finely tuned instrument, brought emotional depth and spiritual beauty to the folk rock movement of the 1960s and 1970s. Few singers have so effortlessly merged purity of tone with heartfelt expression, making Garfunkel a rare interpreter whose singing seemed less like performance and more like communion. As one half of Simon and Garfunkel, he helped craft a sound that defined a generation's sense of yearning and idealism. Songs like The Sound of Silence, Homeward Bound, America, and Bridge Over Troubled Water weren't just hits, they were cultural touchstones that spoke to alienation, faith, and the search for belonging in a rapidly changing world. Garfunkel's crystalline harmonies added transcendence to Paul Simon's lyrics, transforming everyday emotions into something almost sacred. His influence can be felt across decades of popular music. Artists such as James Taylor, Cat Stevens, Don McLean, and Damien Rice have drawn inspiration from the emotional honesty and clarity of his singing. Modern duos like the Civil Wars, Angus and Julia Stone, and First Aid Kit also carry echoes of Simon and Garfunkel's intimate, voice-driven approach, proof of Garfunkel's enduring impact on the art of harmony. While Paul Simon was widely regarded as the duo's primary songwriter, Garfunkel's contributions were vital to shaping their sound. His musical instincts often guided arrangement and vocal structure, ensuring the balance between storytelling and melody. Many fans and critics alike credit him with elevating Simon's compositions into timeless pieces through his interpretive sensitivity and vocal discipline. Beyond his artistry, Garfunkel has long represented the philosophical side of fame, someone who never seemed fully at ease in the spotlight, preferring solitude, books, and contemplation to celebrity. He once remarked, "I'm a singer who reads, a thinker who sings. I try to keep it simple and stay in love with the sound of life." This delicate balance between intellect and emotion has made him both enigmatic and deeply admired. In his later years, Garfunkel's performances took on a reflective tone. His live shows often blended music with spoken word, as he recited poems, shared anecdotes, and revisited classics with renewed tenderness. Even after health challenges temporarily affected his vocal cords, he persisted, working to regain his voice, not for fame, but for love of the art itself. In 2010, Garfunkel said something that captures his enduring philosophy: "When you sing, you live twice, once through the words, and again through the echo of the soul that hears them." That belief, that singing is both an act of creation and of connection, has been the guiding principle of his entire career. Whether performing before hundreds of thousands in Central Park or reading poetry in solitude, Garfunkel has pursued beauty with quiet devotion. Today, Art Garfunkel is widely regarded as one of the great voices of the 20th century, a bridge between folk simplicity and classical grace. His legacy lies not only in his records but in the emotional truth he gave to every note he sang, a reminder that even in the modern age, the human voice remains the most timeless instrument of all. Art Garfunkel's personal philosophy and worldview reveal a man deeply committed to contemplation, beauty, and the search for meaning. Unlike many of his contemporaries, who chased fame and reinvention, Garfunkel always approached life as a poet first, a man for whom art was not a career but a way of being. His life's work, both musical and literary, reflects an unending dialogue between intellect and emotion, solitude and connection, sound and silence. He has often described singing as a spiritual act, something close to prayer. For Garfunkel, the voice is not merely a tool of entertainment, but a vessel for purity and truth. In interviews, he has said that when he sings, he feels aligned with something higher, as if channeling emotion through vibration and air. This almost mystical reverence for sound has informed not only his singing but also his approach to living, one rooted in mindfulness and appreciation for small, delicate moments. Garfunkel has also been outspoken about the fragility of fame. He experienced immense success at a young age, but the dissolution of Simon and Garfunkel left him wrestling with identity, torn between being part of a legendary duo and being an artist in his own right. He once said, "Fame is a strange companion. It doesn't let you see yourself clearly. I prefer the quiet voice that tells you who you are when the applause is gone." His relationship with Paul Simon has long been one of both admiration and friction. The two men, bound by shared history and artistic chemistry, have also spent decades navigating creative tension and personal misunderstanding. Garfunkel has acknowledged the complexity of their friendship, calling it a 60-year conversation between two stubborn souls. While they've reunited several times, notably for the concert in Central Park, 1981, and the Old Friends Tour, 2003-2004, their partnership remains marked by both affection and distance. Despite any disagreements, Garfunkel has always praised Simon's songwriting brilliance, describing him as the finest composer of our generation. Outside of music, Garfunkel's intellectual pursuits have shaped much of his identity. His love of reading, particularly philosophy, poetry, and classic literature, has kept him grounded through personal loss and the unpredictability of fame. His book list, maintained meticulously for decades, reflects a mind constantly seeking insight. He has cited writers like Rilke, Dostoevsky, Emerson, and Thoreau as spiritual companions. Their influence can be felt in his own writings, which often ponder existence, time, and the delicate beauty of imperfection. His memoir, What Is It All But Luminous?
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.